It's 9:25 on a Friday night and everybody's asleep. So I was thinking, why don't we get this place cleaned up, freshened up, feeling good to start the weekend so everybody wakes up on a Saturday morning feeling good in a clean house. It's 9:27 and my kids probably drink like 5 gallons of milk a week. I mean, is that not healthy? I'm gonna be honest, I have not emptied this dishwasher in probably 4 days because in a video I did a few days ago, I said if the dishwasher is full, then something good was gonna happen. And so I just kept the dishwasher full. Well, guess what? It looks like that did not happen, so we're just gonna empty it. You know you're in the trenches when you just pick off of the clean dishes that have been sitting in the dishwasher. Sometimes I just like to get a little microfiber towel and just wet it down a little bit and just give the inside of your dishwasher a nice little wipe down. I mean, I've seen so many like dishwasher videos, buildup of moisture and stuff. I don't know how true that is, but I just like wiping things down. I do have a confession to make. I have a bill in collections from the public library nearby. There was a book that we forgot to return. I don't even know where it is. And now I'm getting some like weird mail from some like weird law agency. And these things, like, they try and scare you. You know, they always say like law agency collectors service. But yeah, a book from the library. You know how we talk about as parents, like when the kids go to bed, like finding our downtime? Well, I've always looked at that as like cleaning. Like for me, when I became a stay-at-home parent, I was like, you know what? My downtime is hanging out, cleaning alone. I mean, I love cleaning at night alone. Like, this is like my jam. I'll tell you what, there's nothing more satisfying when you're grabbing a cup to pour a drink in, and then there's these plastic cups, and you're like, oh, I don't have to do dishes. It's 9:37. You would think with this many tumblers that we would be the most hydrated family on the internet, but they look good though, right? Does anybody else have bad luck when it comes to their teeth? Side note, does anybody else like putting these little medicine things in the dishwasher? I don't know. These are some of the most important things you can have in the house. So I go to the dentist the other day, and the first thing they do is check my vitals. I mean, for God's sakes, what? Like, they check my blood pressure, and guess what? It's high. I think it's maybe because I don't like going to the dentist. It was like 160/80, which is the highest that it has ever been. It's 9:43. Are we supposed to be saving the little cake cutters from the grocery store that they give you when you buy a cake? And then they do all of the x-rays and the scans and stuff, and it comes to find out that I need 3 crowns and a root canal and 3 different teeth all up here. And I brush my teeth at least twice a day, sometimes floss, some mouthwash for good luck. Oh, I love that. Anyway, it ended up being like $3,700 to have all of those. My insurance was able to only cover like $2,000 of it because it reached like the maximum. They went ahead and sent me some amoxicillin, which I still need to pick up. That is one of my toxic traits, is that I go to a doctor's office, I go somewhere and they send me medication, but I never go get it. I gotta work on that this year, y'all. But can somebody explain like what really is amoxicillin? I mean, it sounds like you could take amoxicillin for anything. I mean, whoever the maker of amoxicillin is gotta be loaded. It's 9:52, and don't you love when you get like free samples and it's like a dishwasher pad thing? Like, these little samples are always a keeper. After a long time, Sam and I finally got established at a primary care doctor. I'm not gonna lie, it has been at least like a year and a half or so since Sam and I went to an actual doctor to like get established. And it's funny because they're asking about all of my family history and stuff, because you know how it is when you go to like a doctor so they can get to know you. And Sam is over there like answering the questions for me because I have been told 1,000 times what my family history is, but I can never remember. And I told Sam today, it's like, that's how you know we're in a healthy marriage and that we've like made it in married life, when we're going to see a doctor together to get a physical. The funny thing is, they did my vitals and my blood pressure. She was like, oh, it's perfect. It's 120/80. And I was like, you know what? It was the dentist. Funny story. I moved in with a friend of mine back in 2009. And the first night I took a shower at his place and he didn't have any towels. So I just used some of his decorative kitchen towels. Not like this, but this is what reminded me. I remember getting out of the shower and he was like, you use my towel. It was a whole thing. Come to find out, these are dishcloths, so I'm assuming you put it under. Yeah, I think we need 2. This is little. Okay, just do one right here. Okay. We're at the doctor and they're asking us questions about our history and our past, and it got to me. I don't think I told you guys this, maybe once or twice, but I used to be a smoker. I smoked for, which was crazy to say today, I smoked for 14 years. I'm like, wow, that sounds a lot longer than I want it to be, but you know what? Like, I'll never discriminate people that smoke, because I used to smoke. I know how hard it is to quit smoking, and to be honest with you, I still crave cigarettes. Like when I see people smoking, I'm like, oh, I want one, but I haven't had a cigarette in I think like 7 years. And these doctors, they want to know everything. So I had a torn meniscus in my right knee. They were like, oh, which knee? Left? I like couldn't remember. Back when I was young, I think I was like 19, maybe 18 or so, I had a torn meniscus in my knee and I had to have a scope done. And then they were like, oh, have you ever had any broken bones and stuff like that? Did anybody else fall out of the tree? I fell out of a tree when I was younger and I broke my wrist, and I remember being like knocked out and waking up in the guy's house that we were at. We were at like one of my dad's friend's house or something, and I was climbing the tree in the front yard and I broke my wrist and I had a cast, and I got to thinking, like, do people even wear casts anymore? And the thing to do was to sign it with like a black Sharpie as a kid. I don't know. I hope that they're still doing that. It's almost like, you know, you hope kids are still playing manhunt outside or capture the flag. Well, I hope people are still signing casts. I think some of these streakless cloths are one of the most underrated things you can buy out at the grocery stores. Just get them a little wet. And then I like to spray my stainless steel appliances with literally just anything. This is peppermint. You know, I like my peppermint. Peppermint sand fog. And it's extra special because we came from the checkout line outside of a Home Goods. I don't think it's streaking. Do you guys see any streaks? I mean, it always looks the best, like right when you wipe it. And then I will be honest, sometimes if you use something different or a different cloth and you come back to the dishwasher 30 minutes later, you can see all the streaks. I'm feeling very open-minded tonight, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to tell you guys about the microwave a little bit. This one broke a while back. I don't know, 2 years ago. And I kept trying to repair it. I had purchased probably like hundreds of dollars worth of stuff trying to fix it. Almost electrocuted myself. I just got to the point I was sick and tired of it like stop working while there was cooking being done, because we are a very microwave family. Like a lot of times the kids get microwave food. There's nothing more frustrating when one of your appliances don't work. Microwave is considered appliance, right? So I said I'm gonna go to Walmart and get like a $30 one and just have it. And honestly, it just happened to fit right in the microwave that was broken. A funny story, we're at the doctor's office in the waiting room and some guy comes in with a gigantic German Shepherd. And you could tell he was a nice guy in that he came in with the dog as if he's been in there a couple of times with the dog before. Confession, I bought this dollar store wood cleaner that's tested out. Probably not a good idea to test it out on a piano that looks like it's from the 1700s. And the staff at the doctor's office was like, is he a service dog? Because he didn't have like a vest on or anything. The guy was like, no, he's just a puppy. I mean, the dog was gigantic. So the staff was like, if he's not a service animal, then I'm sorry, he can't be in here. It's policy, you know, it's a medical place. Does anybody else have a possessed vacuum? What the? I honestly don't even know how to turn it off. Okay, we're good. God. It's 10:11. Just set the vacuum outside because it keeps turning on. Check on that in a minute. And I was like, oh my God, the guy is gonna go crazy, because I don't know. I'm a Libra. I hate confrontation. I don't like being around confrontation. And he was just like, oh yeah, no problem. So I got to thinking, is it just me, or people just like bring their animals like everywhere nowadays? If you know, you know. It's 10:19. Does anybody have like one of these little portable heaters that you got from Walmart for like 20 bucks? One of my toxic traits is doing pressure washing with my nice Hoka shoes, because I can only wear Hokas. And I'm not just saying that to say that. I had bad plantar fasciitis and Hokas is the only thing that healed them. I've been crying so much this week. I'm hoping by the time this video is edited and posted that there's some sort of resolution to, you know what I'm talking about. This is one of the things I don't like about shopping in bulk. Like, who needs 77 bags of seaweed snacks? I mean, this is out of control. Do I have any subscribers that work at a doctor's office? Like, what's it like there? And shout out to all the MAs. I mean, I feel like y'all are in the trenches, like the front lines. Like the MA, I think, is the first person you see when you walk into a doctor's office. A lot of times you go to these doctor's offices and they're like, would you rather be seen by the nurse practitioner or would you rather be seen by the doctor? And I kind of look at it as back in the day when you used to go to a restaurant and they'd say smoking or not. You just say first available. One thing I never understood is why do they have to check your weight when you go to the doctor's office? It's like the first thing you have to do. You're like, ugh. And shout out to all the CNAs that work in the hospital or do home health care. I mean, y'all are doing some amazing things out there. Do you just want to chill here, or I could kind of clean around you? The one thing that overwhelms me the most is when there's just stuff all over the floor. Like, for instance, like, why do we have an Allen wrench just laying here by the stairs? Just set everything in a pile. And come to find out, like, why is it Allen wrench called? Like, who is Allen? Was anybody else on training wheels when they were a kid, like on their first bike? My 3-year-old's new favorite toy is this little grate that goes in our air fryer. 1034 quick check on your vacuum, looking good. Has anybody ever been to Peru? I heard they have those like cool mountains over there. Funny story, when I was in preschool, I used to wear these cowboy boots, and whenever I was on the bike that I was talking about, and to brake, I would use my cowboy boots as my brake, like right here by the toes. Always keep your tape measure, that's rule number 1, in your living room, just in case you want to do the 10-foot rule if your spouse is on their way home from work. Always fluff your cushions up for good luck. Does anybody else have a spot for broken sunglasses, a battery, and a pair of scissors? Keychain for the kids, some nuts and bolts. We have jewelry. I had somebody tell me recently that I need to go out and get a real job, given the events of like what's been happening, but I was like, you know what? I like being a stay-at-home dad and making cleaning videos and doing things like this. I've always said being a stay-at-home parent is like the hardest job in the world. And I don't think you get much PTO. But on a serious note, thank you so much for joining me over here on YouTube. I know this might look a little different than the videos that I made on a different platform, maybe a little longer, a little slower, but you know what? Yeah, I'm navigating too. It's like kind of a weird time for me as well, just trying to figure things out. I am committed to keeping the train going. Does anybody else not know how to read a tape measure? I know the big number are inches, but like what is the correct term with these like 3 little lines? Like what is that? Remember rule number 2, always take your Harry Potter backpack and hang it up. I had somebody tell me that Harry Potter was based on a true story. That can't be real, right? It's 10:54 at night. I should be done by like 11. There's just something about a good wired vacuum. Remember rule number 3, when you start to vacuum your tiles, switch to hard floor. I honestly don't know why, but it just says it. Oh, got an egg. 12:58, I only have like 2 minutes. Honestly, I like to give myself deadlines because when I used to work at Costco, there was a deadline to get all your cleaning done before the store opened. And I like the energy it gives me when I give myself a deadline. Our heater at the house has been on, I'm not kidding, like 9 straight days. Does anybody else have a dining room table that was given to them by their grandmother? Well, it was really my mom's, and then my mom gave it to me. It's 11:06. I should be done by like 11:30. It's 11:09. Just put some hot water in the mop bucket. You're gonna want to add your pink stuff floor cleaner for good luck. And I always like to turn on the jets because I like the bubbles that come up. I feel like there's no right or wrong way to mop your floors. Just put water in a bucket, add anything, in my opinion, that just smells good, and spin it like this. It's 11:11, make a wish. If I had one wish. Always mop underneath your piano because you gotta sit right there and you want clean feet. It's 11:13. I think I was born at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. What time were y'all born? Always mop right at the entrance of your stairs because that's when people are walking. When you finish at the front door, you're gonna sleep good. It's 11:15, grab your vacuum. Okay, I think it's healed now. It's 11:16, and I've learned you could use fabric spray as like a room scent spray thing. It's 11:20 and the house is looking good, smelling good, and ready to rock and roll for the weekend. And remember rule number 1, the goal is just to look a little bit better than it did before. Now it is time to go to bed. I'm so exhausted. Good night, everybody.